Good morning. My name is Leibensperger, and I'm here to present my author presentation on my Gothic short story, The Master Puppeteer. So, The Master Puppeteer plays off of some very modern fears. One of my sources I researched through Chapman University, which does a study over the United States on what do Americans actually fear. They go around and they ask multiple people, what do you fear the most? And one of the fears I'm playing off of is losing your identity. Well, they were referring to internet theft. Losing your identity can also be interpreted as you're no longer yourself. So my short story, the monster will manipulate you to the point where you are no longer in control of your body. You are there, but you're not. In addition, I am playing off the modern fears of rejection and failure. Many Americans fear this because there is unknown and uncertainty, and oftentimes we are seen as very prideful, and when that is hurt, we get upset. So one of the techniques I used was short sentences, and I use this to portray thoughts. Because when you look into the classroom like this, you just think there's desks, white walls. You don't think, oh, look how beautiful the rows are with white walls. It paints a clear picture when you're thinking just like the mind. So I'm going to read an excerpt that I used this technique in. I was sitting there eating my lunch, ham and cheese, nothing fancy. I was just sort of zoning out and staring at the wall, the white wall. Nothing on it except for an old photo of Eva, Ben, and myself. I cannot believe it has been 3 years already. I felt a tear roll down my face. The soap burned where I cut myself shaving this morning. Oh, how I wished for her back. I just sat there thinking for a while when my phone rang. It said it was from Elise Jackson. Elise. Who is Elise? When it hit me that it was Miss Elise, Ben's teacher, my heart went into panic. When I answered, she said she needed me to come in and there had been an incident. I hurried over as fast as possible. When I got there, she escorted me to the classroom. It was a very simple room. Desk in rows of 5 by 5. An alphabet lined the walls. Nothing on Miss Elise's desk. Very neat and prim. I sat down in a chair and she pulled up for me. Her face was very grim and her gentle blonde curls accentuated her thin face. So by using this short burst of the white walls, an alphabet lined the walls, nothing on her desk, and very neat and prim, it just tried to symbolize his thoughts. And just as they come to him, it's not supposed to be like it's supposed to be painting the picture, but it's supposed to be from his perspective and his thoughts at the time. So now I'm going to talk about my struggles and successes. I really actually found success with coming up with an original idea. When I thought of an idea, it came to my head and I just went with it. For example, my opening paragraph, when we had to write the two, my first one came to me within 5 minutes. And it just flew, and I had it written in 10 minutes, and it worked. But then when I had to come to think of a second one, I sat there for 45 minutes just thinking of, what am I going to write? How am I going to word this? So, for example, I'm going to read my opening paragraph, share this as well. As the gentle breeze blew on the chilly October night, I couldn't help but shudder. The moon lit up the city, and the street light above me flickered. I glanced up, and seeing the bulb violently flicker gave me goosebumps. You know when you have the feeling that something isn't right? I couldn't explain it, but I just felt uncomfortable. My pace picked up a little bit, and I was desperate to get off the streets and into the warm comfort of my home. I hate walking at night. It is unsettling to the nerves. I was almost to my apartment when all of a sudden a woman ran into me. The whiteness of her face was covered in a cold sweat, and there was sheer terror in her eyes that practically screamed for my help. This literally came to me within 10 minutes. However, when I tried to think of a second one, it took me 45 minutes just to think of an idea, and then probably another half hour, 45 minutes to write it. Some of the struggles I had were with wording later on. There were some points where I couldn't think of how I wanted to word it to flow with the story correctly. And another thing I struggled with was painting a picture and showing, not telling. I really struggled with that because I'm trying to get from his perspective, but there's also multiple characters in the story that is from their perspective as well. So I really struggled with trying to accurately portray what is going on in a short story while still making it clear what's going on and painting the picture. These are my sources, and thank you for listening to me on my short story.